Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Jake Lambright. We have got a lot to talk about whenever it comes to the northwest corner of the ArkLaTex. We've got several strong to severe storms out there and updates to some of our active watches. We'll start off with a look at the updated severe thunderstorm watch. It has been expanded now to include Bowie, Cass, Marion, and Harrison counties in Texas. That watch still set to expire this evening at 10 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get a quick check of radar, see what's out there currently. We've got things set up over here, so bear with me for just a moment while that loads in. Just take this time today. All right, here we go. So there's a look at current radar. We've got several severe thunderstorm warnings out there. We'll kind of work our way from north to south. And if you have any questions you're watching on our social media platforms, please feel free to leave those in the comments. I'll be getting to some of those questions here in just a moment. So we'll start here with the storm that's moving to the east of Idabel. This is heading out toward DeQueen and Foreman. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning there through 7:45 this evening, mainly watching for gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour. However, the Weather Service also tagging this for tornado possible. In fact, we will take a more in-depth look at the storm here with our velocity tracker. And I do see now, of course, if this rotation was tight and could spin up a tornado any moment, there would be a tornado warning. Let me be clear, there is not. But I do see the broad rotation the Weather Service is watching. This is near Oklahoma Highway 3 east of Idabel in parts of McCurtain County. Again, this storm heading off toward DeQueen and Foreman. We'll get a track on that here in just a moment. I need to pull a little bit of info on that warning. Looks like that storm is moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. Since we're doing a lot of tracking, let me make sure my tool is good to go where I don't have to adjust as much. And all right, there we go. So we're going to drag this out about 40 miles an hour. So that would put the storm in DeQueen in about 20 minutes. The community of America there right before the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line, that'll be heading your direction in about 5 to 10 minutes. Locksburg in about 35 minutes, and then eventually, if it can hold together, Blue Bayou in a little under an hour from now. So that's the first severe warned storm that we have. As we continue moving to the south, you'll notice another severe thunderstorm warning. It includes areas like New Hope, Mount Pleasant, Clarksville. This one running through 8 o'clock tonight. Watching for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with this storm. This one looks like it's moving to the east and southeast at about 35 miles per hour. Go ahead and get a track on this. Currently moving through Mount Vernon right now, producing some heavy rain, probably some small hail in there as well, in addition to the gusty winds. So again, tracking that out next hour or so, this will be moving into the community of Winfield right about now. Mount Pleasant in about 10 minutes or so, eventually tracking out toward Omaha in about 30 to 35 minutes. New Boston coming up in about 45 minutes, and then Hughes Springs in about 55 minutes. And Hughes Springs, you're already dealing with some rain right now in your area. Sorry, just getting a new update in from the Weather Service and trying to kind of put two and two together which warning they're talking about. I think they're talking about this warning. That'd be correct. So the warning you see the information for on the screen, of course, the strongest of the storms have moved out, so they are allowing that warning to expire in 4 minutes. Last but not least, we do have an additional severe thunderstorm warning, this one for parts of Upshur, Marion, Cass counties. Let me put that information up on the screen for you so you can see it. And this storm really hasn't moved much. Cass, Harrison, Marion, and Upshur counties through 7:30 this evening, mainly watching for gusty winds up to about 60 miles per hour. And I mean, this storm has been moving. It's moving east at about 25 miles per hour, but again, it's been moving slowly and also kind of building off of itself as well. I'm going to go ahead and put a quick track on this, again, out about 25 miles an hour. So on its current track, that would put it moving into Avenger here any second. Bear Creek in southern Cass County in about 15 minutes. Berea in about 30 minutes, and then eventually tracking out toward Jefferson in about 45 to 50 minutes. I'm very curious here. I want to take a look at our precip amounts over the last 3 hours or so and get an estimate on how much we have seen so far. Looks like radar already estimating about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain in that area. Like I said, we've had heavy rain. It really hasn't moved much over the last 30 minutes or so. We've already seen several flash flood warnings out there so far this evening. So I'm going to reset things, go back to a wide view. Go back to our radar. I'm going to make some adjustments here. We're going to start by turning the radar off. and then also taking our severe thunderstorm warnings out of there too. I want to really focus in on our flash flood warnings. The one flash flood warning we have in effect right now is for parts of Red River County and McCurtain County. This is the one earlier that probably set your phones off. This goes through 9:30 this evening. And I actually want to add our rainfall totals back. We're going to do to account for what we've seen a little bit beyond that. Let's go to 12 hours because this kind of tells the story when it comes to our saturated ground. So out in northwestern parts of Red River County, southern parts of McCurtain County, these estimates may be high. They are radar estimates. In the hot spots, picking up 6 to 8 inches of rain. Out toward Clarksville, east of town, about 3 inches of rain there. New Boston, Douglasville, 6 to 8 inches of rain across the board. So again, kind of painting the picture for what we saw this morning in terms of those excessive rainfall amounts and the saturated ground. That's probably why they went ahead and issued that flash flood warning kind of early. Over the last, 6 hours, doesn't make much of a change. 3 to 6 hours out toward Idabel, they've picked up roughly 2 to 3 inches of rain. And again, that's on top of 2 to 4 inches of rain that these same areas picked up this morning. So that's why that flash flood warning is in effect. And of course, we'll be keeping a close eye on the flooding situation there as we go later to this evening. In fact, if you're watching from this area and you can safely give us reports, whether that's photos, videos, or even sending us a message or an email, that would be very appreciated so we can kind of have ground truth as to what's going on out there in those areas. Let me make radar full screen here. You'll notice much of the ArkLaTex not seeing much at all in terms of shower or storm coverage or activity. Right now, most of it is confined to extreme northeast Texas and southeast parts of Oklahoma. Of course, watching that storm complex that's rolling in. And give me just a second. I'm still here with you. I'm just reading an update from the National Weather Service, so give me one moment. But all right, so again, we're watching two areas, one isolated thunderstorm closer to or right in between the I-30 and I-20 corridor. Looks like that severe thunderstorm warning was just allowed to expire. So still looking at heavy rain with this, of course, as it moves through. And one thing I really want to take a look at in this storm in just a moment are rain rates. When it comes to the severe weather at this point, it is with the complex of storms that is moving through McCurtain County all the way down through Titus and parts of Red River counties as well. I'm going to take just a moment. It's been a minute since I've been on the live stream, so I want to look through social media questions and answer some of your questions here in just a moment. Yes, Billy, we could see a little bit of rain tomorrow. I'm hopeful that rain coverage won't be as great. But yes, if we see rain tomorrow, that will be the last day we will see rain for the foreseeable future, likely for the next 10 to 14 days. Just kind of reading through some comments here. Also looking through our other chats as well. See a question, will it get to Shreveport? We could very well see rain a little bit later this evening. It will stay isolated to scattered, so it's not a guaranteed forecast for the Shreveport-Bossier Metro, but of course we will be watching it. Kind of looking here for some additional questions. Hooks, Texas, I believe you are dealing with a good bit of rain right now with that stronger storm that's moving through. Double check real quick, just making sure I have my counties right here. So you are just west of Texarkana, kind of east of New Boston. You will be seeing that stronger thunderstorm that'll be moving through. So expect heavy rain and also some gusty winds at times as that thunderstorm moves through. Again, we could see wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with this storm as it continues tracking your direction. So the National Weather Service opted to not go with the severe thunderstorm warning on this storm. It was just allowed to expire a moment ago. They are going to go with what's called a special weather statement, which if you're not familiar with the special weather statement, it just means we're watching the storm. It's not quite severe, but could still produce some gusty winds or perhaps some small hail. That special weather statement going through 8:15, they're watching it for wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. So that's what we're keeping tabs on with that storm. Going back out. I do want to walk through Future Track together, and I want to walk through two separate versions of it. So that there's the version that updates every couple of hours with a new update. Let's switch things on my end to the one that updates a little more frequently. Kind of see what it has to show for right now. It's not doing the worst. Again, it has that complex trying to hold together, maybe not being as strong. It's got it moving into northeast Louisiana later tonight. We keep a few isolated showers and thunderstorms around. These forecasts are my least favorite. I mean, this time of the year, whenever we see storm complexes like this, we've got, in this case, northwesterly winds in the upper levels of our atmosphere. That throws computer models completely off. So it makes it more of a challenge when it comes to forecasting. Of course, we look at a lot of different models. We look at a lot of different data, use our meteorological expertise. But again, when we have bad data to look at, it certainly does not help us out. In addition to that, of course, we've got to see how fast our upper level disturbance is going to be moving. It'll be out of the area by late tomorrow at the latest. And then after that, we've got high pressure building back in, which means sunshine and very, very warm temperatures. When it comes to the severe weather threat, the rest of this evening, we're keeping it a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, along and north of the I-20 corridor. And again, if we see severe weather, gusty winds will be the main threat, like what we've been seeing so far this evening. We also have that flood watch in effect at least through Wednesday morning. If we see rain hang on a little bit longer, I would not be surprised to see that possibly pushed back a little bit further. Of course, it won't take much rain. You know, a quick inch of rain can still cause flooding issues between the 7 inches of rain we saw in Shreveport last week and the 10 inches of rain in Marshall, and then the 6 to 8 inches of rain at least, if not higher amounts that we saw along the Bowie-Cass County line this morning. The ground is very, very saturated, so that's why that flood watch is in place. Whereas otherwise, we might not see enough rain today. In some places, yes, we will. In other places, not so much. The surface map here showing that stalled front, like I was talking about earlier in our newscast, across the northern parts of the ArkLaTex. And then looking here, you can see, it's very hard to see because I haven't zoomed out here, but our upper level disturbance right about there, that is going to continue moving off to the east and southeast as we go throughout the day tomorrow. And then a big contrast by the time we get into the weekend. You'll notice this ridge of high pressure setting up over a good chunk of the southeast, and it will continue to park itself right over the ArkLaTex as we head into the start of next week. In fact, there's that high pressure center. It's like my pen tool not wanting to work with me there, but you get the point. High pressure sticking around for the foreseeable future, keeping us very warm and dry. Again, high temperatures likely to top out in the upper 90s. It feels like temperatures likely much, much warmer than that. I'll leave you with your temperature trend here for just a second. I'm going to take another look, see if we have any more questions in our chats. Atlanta, Texas. I see a question there. I'm going to switch us back to the radar real quick. So Atlanta, you actually probably have some rain coming in close to town now. You'll notice that heavy rain just west of you. Right now, this is not severe. However, gusty winds up to 40 miles per hour. Of course, that heavy rain will be possible as that moves in. And then also watching the complex of storms just to your northwest. We'll have to see how these evolve as they continue over the next hour to half hour. So, you know, I see I have another TikTok comment. Hey there, how are you doing this evening? Glad to see you joining me, and hopefully we can avoid the strongest of the storms in Shreveport, Bossier. Maybe just get a little bit more rain out of it before it's all said and done. Looks like we just got a new flash flood warning out as we speak, so I'm going to take a quick break from answering questions. We'll go to that flash flood warning that just rolled out. This is in place for parts of northeast Texas and southwest Arkansas. That new flash flood warning through 10:15. If you're out west of Texarkana, out near New Boston, Ashdown, you probably just got the alert on your smartphone. You may be wondering, why did we just get a flash flood warning, and why is it a more elevated threat? As I've been mentioning, with the more saturated ground, that's probably why they've gone ahead and opted for that higher threat flash flood warning, as that complex of storms will dump some heavy rain, and it will not take long to potentially see some flooding issues. They're expecting 1 to 3 inches of rain possible shortly in that warned area. Let's go here to I'm going to pause things on our radar for a moment. I want to go to our 3-hour rainfall totals. Actually, I may adjust this just a little bit. Let's go back to radar. If I do things a little bit differently and kind of slice into this area, we'll get better estimates. So that new flash flood warning that just came out, look at that earlier this morning, and this is within 12 hours. Some of these hot spots out near New Boston along I-30 and out south, just outside of the warned area in Douglasville. Those areas earlier today, according to radar, picked up anywhere from 5 to 7 inches of rain. So it will not take much, especially the heavy rain moving in. It will not take long to potentially cause some flooding issues. So, of course, the National Weather Service being very, very proactive when it comes to issuing these flash flood warnings tonight to make sure people stay safe, because, again, it will not take much to see possible flooding issues. Kind of dive in here to some of these thunderstorms. Very curious to see what's going on here in terms of rainfall rates and totals with the storm moving into parts of Marion and Cass counties. I'm going to get some radar estimates there. This is the last 3 hours near that 259 marker, about 2 inches of rain. So several estimates about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Here's something else I wanted to drag over. Give me just a moment while I do that. I want to drag over our rain rates. And with storms that move very slowly or nearly stationary, rain rates can really help tell the story. So I'm going to have to do some on-the-fly editing here. You'll probably see me do that. Take some of this off. So now we're over to rain rate, so give me just a moment. Make sure to save that so I don't have to go in and manually intervene with it every time. All right, so let's go into the storm here. We'll start parts of Marion County out towards southern Cass, northeastern Upshur. And what you're seeing here right now is not necessarily the intensity, part of it's intensity of the rain, part of it's not. But usually whenever we look at the radar image, we've got the green for light rain, yellow for moderate rain, red for heavy rain. What this shows here is if the storm is very slow moving or sits nearly stationary, how many inches of rain we would see in an area in an hour. So for example, that bullseye that I pulled just south of Avenger, the rain rate there is 3.8 inches, almost 4 inches per hour. Out toward Ore City in northeastern Upshur County, the rain rate out there closer to 4 inches an hour. Near Avenger with the heavy rain near and just east of town, about 2 inches per hour. So some pretty substantial rain rates with this storm. And again, it is moving very slowly. We'll go back up to the complex of storms. These are moving, they're moving. But with that said, we've already had a lot of rain and the ground is very saturated from this morning in the same area. So rain rates up that way, ranging from about 4 to 5 inches. Again, these storms are moving a little bit quicker. They're not stationary, but you get the point. They sit over you for 30 minutes, and with rain rates close to 5 inches, you could see 2.5 inches in a half hour. So that's why we're seeing some flash flooding in parts of the area and seeing flash flood warnings issued for more of the ArkLaTex. Rain rates right there along the Red River. That's kind of maxing out our scale a little bit, closer to 5 inches of rain per hour. So rain rates are something we'll have to pay close attention to, especially with that storm that's moving a little bit slower in parts of Cass, Upshur, and Marion counties this evening. So I'm going to zoom back into some of this rain that we've got in the ArkLaTex right now and go back to answering some of the questions that we have on our social media platforms. So Vivian, you could see some rain, maybe a little bit longer than 45 minutes. Should we worry about tornadoes in Webster Parish? Tornadoes, the threat tonight is very, very low, but it is the ArkLaTex, so it's hard to ever say that that threat would be zero. Tina, Union Parish, you're looking good for now with rain and storm coverage expected, kind of scattered in nature a little bit later on tonight. Nikki asking about Shreveport. With the scattered nature of some of these thunderstorms, it really depends on the southern extent of these and also if they're able to hold together. Showers and thunderstorms possible tonight. We'll keep isolated to scattered rain around through much of the overnight hours into parts of your Wednesday as well. Keeping tabs here on TikTok. Temps in Texas, you should be able to avoid most of the rain tonight. Still can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm later on. Marshall, kind of same in your direction. You've got rain to your north. In fact, if you look outside and you've got a good view of the northern sky, you will likely see the thunderstorms that are heading out toward Jefferson. Might even see lightning as the sun sets a little bit later on tonight. More rain coming to Texarkana. Yes, that complex should hold together as it moves into Texarkana, bringing some heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds, and also the potential for local flooding. And then Madison Parish, you are looking good for now, with isolated to scattered rain possible a little bit later tonight. I want to go back. I'll actually get a storm track on these storms over the next hour or so. I want to get the latest info on how fast some of these storms are moving. We're going to take a look at that storm. They're moving southeast at about 35 miles per hour. So there we go. There's a look at the estimated times of arrival for the main complex of thunderstorms. Pretty much moving into Cookeville now. Naples in about 15 to 20 minutes. New Boston in about 25, 30 minutes. Hooks in around 40 minutes. And then Nash coming up in about 55 minutes. National Weather Service just released another update saying, of course, the severe risk will diminish, of course, as the sun goes down. And at this time, the Storm Prediction Center that issues the watches does not plan to issue downstream watches at this time. So keeping tabs on questions here on our social media platforms, so please feel free to ask those. Also taking a look at some updates from the National Weather Service. So again, still here with you, just kind of taking a look at some updates here on my end. And I want to pull up our Marshall camera real quick as well. See, might have to adjust that camera view here in just a moment. See if we can't get a good view of the storms out in Jefferson. But again, that's our ETBU camera in Marshall. Be working on adjusting that here momentarily. So when it comes to questions on social media, see some more questions about Shreveport and Minden. Again, we'll have to see if this complex can hold together. But scattered rain expected tonight, and then more isolated to scattered rain a little bit later on this evening. Texarkana, you're looking at this complex of the storm track. Let me actually put that back on the screen. Heading your direction in about an hour from now. Ruston, the forecast is a little more uncertain for you, but scattered rain will be around in your area a little bit later on tonight. And Kalia, yes, this complex of storms, I'm actually going to adjust that track real quick. We've got a new radar update in. Put it in Texarkana in about 45 to 50 minutes. Alita and Vivian, you've got some isolated rain around in the area. We'll have to see if either that isolated cell near Jefferson can make it closer to Vivian, or if that complex of thunderstorms will make it closer to Vivian, if it can hold together. I'm going to try to adjust our Marshall camera real quick. I'll actually just let y'all watch me adjust it too. We can kind of take a look at what's around. Lots of cloud cover out there. This might be looking to our north. Let me see if I can see the highway real quick, or the loop. So we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning in. I'm originally from this area, so I'm trying to see what those buildings are in the distance. Get a good gauge of what we're looking at. While I continue adjusting things on camera there, I'll leave you with a look at radar. Just put out a new severe thunderstorm warning a moment ago, so we'll talk about that here in just a second as well. Yeah, I'm still here with you, just looking at some updates here on my end. All right, we'll leave you there with a quick view of our Marshall cam again real quick. And of course, the Weather Service now watching this new severe thunderstorm warning for it looks like up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. Taking a look here, getting several updates in. So again, just kind of trying to keep tabs on everything. Went ahead and yes, it looks like now they are seeing stronger winds in this entire complex of storms up to 70 miles an hour. Definitely seeing the rainfall picking up with this, if not the hail size a little bit too. We'll take a look at hail tracker here in just a moment. Let me put the radar back up on the screen for you. So new updates, existing severe thunderstorm warning. I believe that's the new one actually. I'm going to clear both of these off the screen. New severe thunderstorm warning in place. Camp Morris, Titus, and Upshur County through 8:30. 70-mile-an-hour winds will be possible as those thunderstorms move through. Looks like they're still moving southeast at about 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a quick track. There we go. I'm going to put a quick track on this. They continue to move southeast. There we go. So the strongest of the winds will be out toward Pittsburgh in about 10 minutes, New Boston in around 15, Hughes Springs in about 25 to 30 minutes. Eventually, the storms will track out toward Ore City and Atlanta in about 40 to 50 minutes from now. So let's take a deeper look inside the storm here, see what we can see when it comes to winds. And yeah, whenever we get into these bright blue and green colors, that usually indicates some pretty strong winds with these storms. Now, because they're further away from the radar, we're scanning a few thousand feet higher in the atmosphere, but with complexes like this, it is not uncommon to see strong wind gusts up to 60, even closer to 70 miles an hour. I'm going to take a quick look here at what radar's pulling so far, easily seeing some 60 to 70 mile an hour readings, even seeing some areas where radar's estimating winds to be a little bit stronger, but again, like I said, we're scanning several thousand feet in the air, so there's no guarantee even those higher readings are making it quite to the ground. So again, very, very strong winds now moving into Mount Pleasant. These will be moving toward Marietta, Hughes Springs, Pittsburgh, eventually tracking out to Ore City, who's currently dealing with non-severe thunderstorms producing some heavy rain as well. So again, watching not just the flood threat, but also the threat for some damaging straight line winds up to 70 miles per hour with these storms as they continue tracking in that direction. Though we've got that additional severe thunderstorm warning out toward Jewel and DeQueen. That severe thunderstorm warning set to expire at 7:45. No word on if they're going to continue that warning or extend it. So we'll be watching for updates on that. But for now, that warning's set to expire here in a couple minutes. And then in addition to the wind threat, again, we've got a flash flood risk across a good chunk of the area. Flash flood warning there for Bowie, Little River, McCurtain, and Red River counties through about 10:15 this evening. So again, this part of the storm would be what we're watching the closest. I do want to see what is in the notch of this storm. Just want to make sure we're not trying to see anything, attempt to spin up there, and I'm not seeing anything impressive. But again, these little complexes, they can really pack a punch sometimes. That's time of the year where we see what we call these as meteorologists are MCSs. It's that time of the year where we get a few of those in the area. Again, they produce some very strong winds, and also, in this case, because of our saturated ground, a flooding risk as well. I'm going to bounce over to social media again. Check on questions. Yes, you've got the heavy rain in DeKalb. Tammy, I see you're watching from there. Are the winds picking up there, or are they on the lighter side? I know the heavy rain's starting to pick up in town right now. Gladewater, for now, I believe this is going to be staying to your north. Yeah, right now there's not much going on there. You could see a stray shower or thunderstorm tonight, but this complex is currently not on track to move your direction. Very interested to see what ends up happening with this moving into Jefferson. It's not severe warned right now, but it's almost like this is starting to bow out a little bit, and certainly seeing some stronger winds estimated on the radar. Again, not to severe limits at this time, but that is definitely a storm we'll have to watch and see if it tries to produce some stronger winds as well. What I'm seeing on radar right now are wind gusts at about 40 to 50 miles per hour at their strongest, with what you see on the screen heading out toward Jefferson. But again, what's moving through Pittsburgh and Mount Pleasant right now definitely has the strongest of the winds. Moving out toward Pittsburgh and Dangerfield, we could see wind gusts up to maybe a little bit stronger than 70 miles an hour with this storm as it moves through. In fact, I'll put another track on this. It's been a couple minutes. This is going to be moving out to the southeast at about 35 miles per hour. Okay, ignore those ETAs there on the screen. I ended that track a little early. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to zoom out here a little bit. Again, working with this on the fly here, so again, I apologize. Bear with me for just a moment. This should let us get a track out to 35 miles an hour. So as this complex of thunderstorms continues pushing southeast, they'll be heading out toward Pittsburgh here in just a couple minutes. New Boston in about 10-15 minutes. Hugh Springs closer to 25 minutes. Linden in about 40 to 45 minutes, and then Atlanta in about 50 minutes. All right. I'm going to go back here to our social media platforms and just got an alert for thunderstorms starting soon. We could have some isolated development trying to get going. Let's zoom in here and take a quick look. In Shreveport right now, I don't see anything on radar of note, but out south of Vivian, we've got some isolated rain, moderate to heavy, along Louisiana Highway 170. Some light rain just west of Oil City, but not anything in Shreveport right this second. But that said, what you see out here in northern Caddo Parish, these little pop-up storms could develop anywhere in the ArkLaTex. It's certainly possible later down the line. We do have some rain in Shreveport-Bossier tonight. Just kind of looking at things here on my end out in East Texas. Yes, if this can hold together and it end up tracking straight toward us, yes, it'll be a little bit later on tonight, probably closer to 10 o'clock before we see anything here in the Shreveport area, as far as what that complex is currently on radar right now. Just getting glancing here at some Doylean. I'm going to check a couple things here on my end. See Taryn saying in the Malta area, it's not great right now, weather conditions. Is it coming for Doylean? Again, a lot of it depends on if it can hold together or not. Like I said, forecasting these complexes can be pretty tricky. Right now, it's very healthy. Nothing that leads me to believe that it'll just fall apart anytime soon. So again, we'll be keeping very close tabs on that. Let's take a look here at Future Track real quick. I want to go back. I think I have us on our hourly version. So that is our hourly version, but I need to make a few adjustments real quick. Because as you can see, what it shows there right now for, we'll be fair, we'll go closer to 8. It's not showing what's actually out there on radar. So I'm going to see if I can't adjust this a little bit. Adjust the model I'd like to go with to see if it can't match our expectations a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, it looks like I was saying a little bit earlier, forecasting these things is tough. Our data is not the best, and computer models really do not handle this kind of setup very well at all. So it is going to be very difficult to try to make adjustments to that to make it look like how we need it. But anyway, the complex Friday holds together closer to Shreveport Bossier around 10 p.m. to midnight. Let's take a look here at. We'll see if this computer model just happens to handle it better. No, it handles it worse. So we are not going to pay much attention to those at all. Actually make that full screen for just a second, have a few updates to check in on from the National Weather Service. Sounds like out in Red River County, as these storms moved through not too long ago, there has been some confirmation of wind damage with them. So we should get those official reports in pretty soon. Kind of taking a look along this line. Looks like law enforcement received a report of a tree down on Texas Highway 37 south near Clarksville a little bit earlier this evening as those storms were moving that direction. Otherwise, not seeing anything strong as far as any kind of rotational signatures along this line, which is good news. What I do see, though, of course, is the threat for strong straight line winds to continue. Ooh, I need to make some adjustments to our Texarkana camera again. Looks like we're going to have a really good view from that camera. Wow, and also real quick, while I'm adjusting the Texarkana camera, look at our Marshall camera. Looks like that might be a shelf cloud in the distance. Kind of hard for me to see on my screen with some of the colors. So again, I'm logging into our Texarkana camera. We're about to have a decent view from that camera as well. Looks like maybe a lightning strike there on the screen as well. Oh, wow. So the tower's kind of blocking the way of the view, but look at that shelf cloud there. Our camera there is southwest of town in Texarkana, and you can see how far that extends. But very, again, I'm sorry for the pole in the way, but very, very ominous view. You can see the heavy rain there right behind the shelf cloud, or a little bit in the distance. But yeah, again, there's a look at it. I'm actually going to pull our camera real quick, see if we can't post a quick picture. I'm going to just leave it on that view real quick. I'll be answering more of your questions here in just a moment. But wow, what a view from our Window World camera out in Texarkana. All right, we're going to pull radar back up here in just a second, kind of get that going once again. But again, wow, what a view. And yes, it does look like that is a shelf cloud in Marshall, too. I can see it a little bit better now. And that likely looking over to the northwest. Wow. Scary looking clouds there this evening as stronger storms get ready to roll in. So no severe thunderstorm warning for the Texarkana area at this time. But if those storms are able to maintain their strength, that will likely continue. This might actually be with the cell. Now I see an additional cell south of town. That's probably what we're seeing. So again, I'll switch things over to radar real quick. We're watching a couple of thunderstorms. Some of them strong to severe. Really want to take a look and see what's going on here near Jefferson. Go ahead and clear that out there. Definitely has a, if you're a big meteorology fan, definitely has a suspicious look on radar, but not seeing any rotation there with that. Seeing a little bit of Boeing, though, in that segment south of New Boston. So right along it's south of I-30. Probably seeing an area of enhanced winds. And yes, you can tell by those brighter green colors dealing with some stronger winds out in that area currently. I'm going to zoom this out. Actually need to put this out there on Facebook real quick. So bear with me for just a second. Still here with y'all. Gotta do one thing at a time here. Getting this post out there on Facebook. Showing that cool cloud. And then, like I said, the view in Marshall, too. Quite the view this evening. Switch back over kind of that area. What we're seeing from our Marshall cam is this storm that I just circled on radar. I'm actually going to pop that tower cam up. We're going to take a look here at our Marshall cam. See if we can zoom that out just a little bit. Try to get that wire hidden. Yeah, wow, what a view this evening from our tower cams. You can see the heavy rain falling behind that shelf cloud. Once again from our Marshall camera. I'm going to pull a quick screen grab from. All right, we'll send it back to radar. There we go. So again, right now we're just waiting on some of these storms to move through. If you're in the impacted areas and you have reports, please let me know. Of course, don't want you going outside during the storms. Try to take photos or videos, but after the fact, if you can safely do so, if you're able to send those to us, that'll be very helpful. We can then relay your reports to the National Weather Service. See some more questions here. So on Facebook and TikTok, so I'm going to be answering some of those here now. Chris asking about Marshall. Right now, that first kind of wave of rain is moving into Jefferson at this point. But if that complex can hold together, can't rule out a little bit of rain in Marshall. We have to do a lot of nowcasting when it comes to some of these. Sabine Parish, rain possible a little bit later on tonight. Very isolated to scattered. It's one of those situations where not everybody will see rain. Same out toward the Mansfield area. Texarkana, no, it has not moved into Texarkana. You've got rain on the south side of town right now, and then you've got that complex of thunderstorms to your west that'll be moving in a little bit later. We'll put another track on those storms here in just a moment. See Deanna saying you're trying to send a video. Are you trying to send it through the website or KSLA app? And I can try to help walk you through that here in just a moment. How's Bossier City, Benton Road looking for these storms? Right now we are dry. Of course, having to watch out for those storms to our northwest. We will see if they are able to hold themselves together. Rain and thunder in Karnak, then it just went away. You've got more storms on the way, not far behind. Ruston, showers and thunderstorms possible tonight. Again, staying scattered though. Just lost power in New Boston. Thank you so much for that report. See, are we going to be okay? Yes. As long as you are indoors taking shelter from these thunderstorms and not out there, you should be good tonight. Webster Parish, again, these storms kind of staying isolated to scattered. Lafayette County, we've got thunderstorms getting ready to head into Arkansas here shortly. Tornado threat tonight stays very low, but with that said, it is not zero. I want to get a closer look here at some of these storms. You're just kind of evaluating things here with you while I'm on the live. Pittsburgh right now dealing with some pretty heavy rain, probably some stronger winds in the mix as well. All right, it has been a little bit, so let's go ahead and get a track on these storms. For those just joining, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning through 8:30. It's another 30 minutes for Bowie, Cass, Morris, and Titus. Storm's still moving off to the southeast at about 35 miles per hour. Get a new track on this. This is going to cover you for the next hour or so. So these are going to be approaching the Jefferson area, dealing with heavy rain right now in about an hour or so. On their current track, if they can hold together, looks like we could see some rain in Shreveport as a result from this complex. However, this will be moving into Texarkana. That track there is a little off toward the northern end. We're going to say about 25 to 30 minutes Texarkana, out toward Bloomberg. Looking, let me just redraw this. I actually don't like how I drew that. Here we go. We're going to redo this track. There's better estimates. About 33 minutes there, Texarkana. 41 minutes for Bloomberg. About 53 minutes estimated time of arrival out toward Harleton. We'll go back real quick to the storm in Marion County, producing some heavy, heavy rain in Jefferson. You can see from our Marshall camera that shelf cloud currently moving through. Got our Marshall camera in relation. It's about right there. It's about right there, so we're looking out to that storm on our camera. So you can see that shelf cloud looking very ominous. Storm not severe warm, but it is producing some heavy rain and some gusty sub-severe winds. Of course, our Texarkana camera out, that shelf cloud has moved through looking a bit different. There's a quick look there at Shreveport Bossier. Again, we're quiet for the time being. Not going to be until later tonight before we see a couple showers and thunderstorms. So going back to your radar view, Rodessa dealing with heavy rain right now, not severe limits. Austin and even north of town in Vivian along Highway 1. A good chunk of Marion County dealing with some pretty heavy rain right now. It has been moving. Rain rates with this, though. Let's take a quick look at those. So again, these rain rates that I'm pulling up here, basically if a storm is sitting stationary or moving very slowly, how much rain could it dump in 1 hour? Taking a look at a couple updates there. So over Jefferson right now, looking at very, very heavy rain. If that were to sit for some time, which thankfully it is moving, but if it were to sit there for a bit, looking at 4 to 4.5 inches an hour with that heavy rain. Then out toward the Marion-Cass County line, also seeing some pretty hefty rain rates, about 4.5 to 5 inches an hour. So again, these with the saturating grounds, even though these are not sitting in the same place and not dumping 5 inches of rain because they are moving, it won't take much to see flooding issues. Also seeing high rain rates to the southwest of New Boston along Texas Highway 8 right now. Radar there picking up on rates of about 6 to 6.5 inches of rain in areas that have already seen their fair share of flooding over the past couple of days. Southeast of Mount Pleasant, also looking at a pocket of higher rain rates, estimating about 4 to 4.5 inches there. So the good news is that these storms are moving, but even if they dump heavy rain on you for 15 minutes, that's still a quick 1-2 inches of rain that could still cause flash flooding issues. So that's why we're, of course, watching everything very closely tonight. In addition to the flood threat, of course, we've got the damaging wind threat. They just updated the severe thunderstorm warnings. Or the one active severe thunderstorm warning that we still have. So I want to get the latest on that, see what's new with that warning. Looks like now they're warning it for hail up to 1.25 inches, likely that segment there near Pittsburgh. Still moving southeast at about 35 miles per hour. I'll leave the radar loop going there for just a second. I'm going to go back to Facebook. Dylan asked about the chances of a tornado in Marshall and Jefferson. The chance is pretty low, but again, not zero tonight. Shreveport Bossier for now looking dry, but showers and thunderstorms on track to move into our area a little bit later this evening. Lane saying wind is blowing hard and raining bad in New Boston. Thank you so much for that report. Hopefully the worst of it will be past y'all here very soon. Yes, the wheat gets much drier. We could see a little bit of rain tomorrow, but by Thursday, we've got high pressure building in. It is going to be very, very hot and dry. No tornadoes here in the ArkLaTex right now. Claiborne Parish could see rain a little bit later. Again, it all comes down to how long can this little complex here of showers and thunderstorms, how long can it survive? Shreveport, it would be closer to maybe 10 o'clock tonight before we see thunderstorms move into the area. Looks like our shelf cloud there is moved through. New severe thunderstorm warning out northern Caddo and Bossier Parish and eastern parts of Marion County. Get the latest there on that. There's that new severe thunderstorm warning through 9 p.m. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail looking to be the main concerns there. This storm moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So get a track on that for you. Again, this stays north of town in Shreveport, Bossier, so we're still waiting a little while longer for rain in town. But if you're out toward Vivian, Oil City, Plain Dealing, those are the areas up for rain first. So we do have a few isolated showers and thunderstorms out ahead of what's severe warned. So do want to warn you, especially areas like Vivian, north of town, out toward Ida. You're seeing rain right now. That's not what is severe warned. That is still on the way a little bit later. I did not realize I didn't have the radar up on the screen, but there's a look at the storm track for the storms moving out of Jefferson into northern Caddo and Bossier parishes here shortly. The stronger storms will arrive in Vivian here in about 10 to 15 minutes, Oil City in about 30, 35 minutes, and then Plain Dealing in about 40 minutes from now. So again, just to repeat, you'll see those storms are moving due east. They are north of Shreveport Bossier, so these are not on track to impact us at this time. Yep, you can see there those stronger winds where we get into those brighter greens and even white colors. That's where we've got the strongest of those wind gusts. Currently, right along Highway, I believe it's 49 that runs east to west there in eastern Marion County, and then Highway 43. New Boston Hooks right now likely dealing with some pretty heavy rain. Let's see what wind speeds right now are not coming back super strong. And out toward Pittsburgh, this is likely where we're dealing with some larger hail right now, just east of 271. And yep, probably going to pull some pretty large hail ratings there. Golf ball size hail estimated with that storm. So I believe that's that 1.25 inches in diameter I was referring to a moment ago. So that larger hail, just tracking that out for you. If it's able to maintain that hail core, I have to do some adjusting here. Again, big if that part of the storm with the hail is able to maintain itself. It would be heading out toward Ore City in about 20 minutes and Diana in about 30 to 35 minutes. Taking a look here at some of our cameras across the ArkLaTex. And our Texarkana camera back to having another shelf cloud. I'm going to actually adjust radar real quick before I switch our camera view. So there's a look at the thunderstorms that are around Texarkana currently. I believe we are looking out likely to the west based on where our camera is in town and the position of that shelf cloud. Here's a look at our camera view there as those storms enter the Texarkana metro. So yes, again, there's a look. That's our Window World camera in Texarkana. Also going to take a look around our Marshall camera. Just very ominous clouds there near the loop where our camera's located currently. If the view's still dark there from our ETBU camera in Marshall, go ahead and swap that view over here real quick. All right, back to radar. And do some adjustments here. Also get storm tracks on some of these storms as well. Some heavy rain getting ready to fall at Caddo Lake. So if you're out there on the water, you happen to be watching this, you're going to want to move in and take cover here for a little while until that storm is allowed to pass. I believe this one's moving off at 30. Double check that. Yes, moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Keep in mind there are some isolated thunderstorms out ahead of this track, so you might see a little blip of heavy rain, a break, and then you get the stronger stuff a little bit later. So this is moving into Vivian in about 5 minutes from now, Oil City in about 20 to 25 minutes, eventually tracking out toward Gilliam in about 25 to 30 minutes. This will continue moving off to the east toward Plain Dealing in about 35 to 40 minutes. Now toward Texarkana, again, where the sky is pretty ominous. We've got more thunderstorms on the way there as we speak. Looks like there's some nickel-sized hail east of Pittsburgh right now. The view here from our Texarkana camera looking a little bit different now. See if I can't adjust it a little bit, but that heavy rain's about to start, or it has started falling around our tower. Yep, here it comes. There's that shelf cloud going over right now. And again, there are the storms that are surrounding the Texarkana area. Probably at this point hearing a lot of lightning, or hearing the thunder, I should say. And again, heavy rain falling right now south of town, or in the south part of town, especially over on the Arkansas side. Some pretty heavy rain falling there now, and then more right behind it for the entire Texarkana, Texas, and Arkansas coming up very soon. So there we go. The rain now falling at our camera. Raining pretty hard out that way. Just leave you here with the view of radar. As things right now in Foreman and New Boston, as well as Naples, starting to wind down. And we could see isolated to scattered rain tonight, but your chances of seeing rain at this point, now that that complex has moved through, is a bit lower. Also, kind of, I know I've got the camera up there on the side. This southern end of this storm complex is starting to show signs of weakening, but I will point this out. As the southern end of this complex starts weakening, what started off as a little isolated storm out in front is starting to gain some strength and coverage. So that will be something, of course, to watch. Keeping tabs on a couple of things here on my end. Should take it back to radar here, full screen. Still have some pretty heavy rain there falling. Moving into Ashdown soon. We've already got that flash flood warning in place as a result of all that rain that fell earlier, and then this on top of it. Falk dealing with heavy rain, starting to see kind of that new line of showers and storms along I-49. Starting to see winds there picking up, heading out toward Vivian. That's really a storm to watch. And just as I say that, the National Weather Service kind of seeing what I'm saying here. They're watching some rotation near Vivian. This is kind of the area to keep tabs on. So right now, there's just a little bit of rotation there. It's not anything super strong. But of course, if it tightens up and it warrants a tornado warning, we'll stay with you here on our streaming platforms, and then we will also be going out on the air as well. So there might be a tiny gap, and then we'll be live on the air again. Right now, there's not a tornado warning, but watching that area of right now, not super tight rotation very closely. If those reds and greens were touching each other and a little more defined in a very concentrated area, I would be a little more concerned with what I'm seeing. But right now, as it stands, of course, what's out there on reflectivity or the rain that you can see there, definitely something to keep tabs on. Looks like we just got a new radar scan in, possibly. So again, that is an area I will be keeping close tabs on. Of course, we'll give you the first alert. As this evolves. But this is where we have, again, a severe thunderstorm warning, and then this, you can see how much that line of storms has really fallen apart. Let's actually loop that back over the last 30 minutes or so, and I will get to answering some questions. I know it's been a minute since I've done so. Look at that. That healthy line comes in, and now it's starting to fall apart, and all of that energy, untapped energy, I might add, being focused in on this storm that's expanding across parts of Marion County and into Caddo Parish. Do want to see, I think this is going through Woodlawn. Yep, that's near Farm Market Road 34, right along the line. But again, really keeping tabs on that one area in Vivian. If you're not, even if you're outside of Vivian in that severe thunderstorm warning, very heavy rain and also gusty winds are expected with this storm as it continues moving through. We'll kind of take a look. Taking a look at several different views here on my end. Let's taking a look at here at some updates on my end. More heavy rain starting to build out toward Jefferson Highway 49. But again, really keeping tabs on northern Caddo Parish right now, northern Bossier Parish. The tornado threat is low, but again, here in the ArkLaTex, almost never say zero because it seems like sometimes Mother Nature finds a way. There's a look. This is our Texarkana camera. Actually going to try to adjust our Shreveport camera here in just a moment, see if we can't get a good view on that storm in northern parts of the parish. So it looks like a new radar scan just came in. I'm not overly impressed. I still see a little bit of rotation in there, but I'm not overly impressed with how tight it is or the strength of it. So that's good news. But again, still an area that we'll be keeping very close tabs on. It's a little hard to see what's in the distance from our downtown cam in Shreveport. See the lightning, the heavy rain, and the wind kind of blowing the our camera in Texarkana around a little bit. There's our Shreveport camera. That might have been some lightning in the distance, or maybe it's that tower I see. Oh, there we go. No, there is some lightning in the distance. But again, pretty hard to see that storm in northern parts of the parish from downtown Shreveport and Bossier City. A lot of lightning there in Texarkana I'm looking at right now. All right, so I'm going to leave that up on the screen for just a moment. I'm going to take a look here at questions on social media. Uncertain, you're about to see out toward Caddo Lake. Yes, you're about to start to see things pick up. Magnolia right now staying dry, but showers and thunderstorms will be possible a little bit later today. Atlanta, you'll have some moderate to heavy rain moving through soon, but nothing that is severe at this time. See Sarah asking about the storm of Vivian. At this point, if something were to try to spin up, it would be just to your east. Tornado threat Woodlawn area, no, not at this time. I think you had a good storm of Jefferson. You're about to get another heavy downpour that's not severe right now, but do expect some heavy rain and lightning. You can kind of see it there toward the left of your screen, basically coming up on Highway 59 as we speak. So is this getting stronger or weaker as it moves east? That's a great question. The initial line, the initial complex I was really watching, has weakened dramatically, but what started as a little pop-up storm is now starting to evolve into its own line of storms, and that is strengthening a little bit. You see rain on Lake of the Pines. Yes, that storm coming off Lake of the Pines now moving into Jefferson right now. Yes, parts of the area picked up a lot of rain. Some didn't see anything at all last night. Marshall, right now most of the rain is staying just to your north. So what you see on your screen right now, not on track to make it to South Bossier Parish. So we'll go back. South Bossier, scattered rain is possible tonight. But again, what's on your screen right now is currently not on track to make it that way. Let me go back here to our radar. I'm seeing a new radar scan here where I'm seeing, this area in between Vivian and Roston trying to, I'm, again, want to give you the first alert. Seeing this area right here in between Vivian and Roston, just west of I-49, maybe trying to get a little more spin to it. So there's no tornado warning out there right now, but kind of want to give you the first alert. That is an area that I'm keeping very close tabs on as it moves across Highway 71 and 49. Take a look in here. A few things I really want to take a look at. Got a couple of other screens here to monitor. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and take that. We'll switch it over. And again, I'll zoom in on this area so you can see it a little bit better. Again, right now, if we see something that wants to spin up, it would currently be near Myra Murtis Road, just to the west of I-49. Again, we don't have anything that's super, defined there as far as rotation, but, sometimes storms have that look, kind of our early warning. So seeing a little bit of rotation, not the strongest and not super tight, but again, that is what I'm going to be keeping close tabs on. In fact, the National Weather Service, I'm reading their update here, they just updated their severe thunderstorm warning and put a tornado possible tag on it. So if that rotation looks a little more ominous, then they may end up putting a tornado warning out on it. But for now, one is not needed. It's like some heavy rain, maybe some hail falling back to the south, I should say, of Highway 49 in southeastern Marion County. More heavy rain there moving into Jefferson right now. And then that complex out to the west, still producing some heavy rain, staying below severe limits as it moves into Texarkana. But otherwise, that southern end is looking very, very sad. So again, this right here is the storm all eyes are on right now. I'll actually make that radar full screen while I take a look at more questions. Texarkana getting slammed right now, yes. That heavy rain, power going on and off in plain daylight. I find that surprising. I guess y'all's winds are already picking up a little bit with the rain, still a little bit to your west. Oil City, as far as that area of rotation I'm talking about, it will stay to your north. Some moderate to heavy rain will be possible in Oil City. Now, as far as Blanchard goes, it's likely staying a little to the north of Blanchard, unless the tail end of that you can see toward the bottom left of your screen can hold together long enough. South Bossier right now, not on track to see what I've got on the screen, but isolated to scattered rain will be possible as we go throughout this evening. So again, just continuing to keep close tabs on this, also keeping an eye out for any updates. Just getting a new scan in every couple of minutes. Seems like it wants to try to spin something up. It's just not, thankfully, it's not looking great at this time. As far as it being conducive, we'll see. We'll see. So again, that area to watch would be crossing I-49 right now. The whole line, of course, producing some heavy rain and also some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour possible. And you'll see this kind of secondary line continues to expand as it continues moving. You can kind of see how storms are building, not just moving to the east, but also building to the south as well. So Shreveport, if this can keep building on itself and hold, we could very well see some heavy rain. And actually that, I knew somebody asked about Blanchard a moment ago. If that can hold together, that may very well move through Blanchard. Like I said, this literally started building on itself in the last 10 or so minutes. So very, very recent. We've got more heavy rain along and east of I-49, parts of southwest Arkansas. So Fouke getting a little bit of a break from heavy rain, and then you've got another round of heavy rain that's moving out of Domino currently. And then Ashdown and Texarkana dealing with some very, very heavy rain right now. So again, hopefully this storm will continue to weaken. Crossing my fingers. But the environment's still very much there. We've got storm energy. This will likely be able to sustain itself for at least another half hour to hour before we see much of a weakening trend. As much as I would like to see it go ahead and start to weaken. Looks like I just got a new update in. I'm not really impressed at all with the look of this. Still seeing a little bit of an appendage. Especially like this radar scan right here about 10 minutes ago. The rotation, at least on reflectivity, a lot more noticeable. Of course, on velocity, it just wasn't as tight. But, you know, when you have a look like what you see there, you know, you got to pay close attention, you know, for a possible tornado. And then otherwise, yeah, each radar scan, thankfully, it looks to improve. We'll have to see if it tries to spin something back up. But for now, not super impressed with what I'm seeing out there in terms of rotation. I should be getting a new update in any second now, so just kind of waiting on some radar tools to load in. Looks like it might take just a second. I think they went ahead and put out a new severe thunderstorm warning. Yep, right in the area. I already had the map. Of course, those storms are kind of building a little more to the south at this point. So that new severe thunderstorm warning includes Blanchard. Doesn't quite include Shreveport. Just yet, want to see what update they've put out. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Get some info on that. So this is moving east at 30. There we go. So ETAs for Benton, Shreveport, Mooringsport. I'll put those on the screen for you so you can see those. Shreveport closer to an hour. If this can hold together, likely it will. Benton in about 30, 35 minutes or so. So gusty winds, heavy rain, and lightning expected with these storms. For those of us in the Shreveport-Bossier Metro, since we have not seen excessive amounts of rain the last couple of days, our flooding threat should be a little bit lower as these thunderstorms move through. Marshall, at least for now, you're not looking at rain, but isolated scattered rain possible tonight. Doyline, I would be watching the storms I've tracked on your screen. Those could make it pretty close to your location. Yes, that little southern part of the storm is moving right toward Shreveport. I'm reading some TikTok comments. Yeah, so in about an hour from now, Carthage. Right now, y'all are staying pretty dry. I'm going to double check that, make sure nothing isolated has popped up. Y'all are staying pretty dry right now, but isolated to scattered rain possible a little bit later on this evening. Oh, hey there, one of our neighbors joining. One of our KSLA neighbors joining us this evening. Yep, you should get a good view from it on the balcony. I see here. Kind of taking a look at some of our cameras. Might do some readjusting and see if we can't get a better view of what's going on west of us. Bossier right now, you know, if we can see what's on screen continue to maintain itself, that'll be moving out toward Bossier. Oh, just saw a good lightning strike there from our Texarkana camera. I didn't have it pulled up on screen on our live stream, but pretty good view there. Kind of hard to see what's going on to our northwest right now. But you can see, I'm actually going to pull up our downtown camera real quick. You can see a lot of lightning with the thunderstorms to our north. Take just a second, you'll kind of look out in the distance. Of course, right as I switch it, we don't see another lightning strike. It'll take just a second, but we'll see some lightning there, that kind of to the north. Oh, there we go. More strikes there. I know some of the I see a comment about the lightning. Some of the lightning with these storms have been pretty bad. I know Northeast Louisiana last night was dealing with a good bit of lightning in the thunderstorms that they had, and they sat over the same places for quite some time. So they just had hours of loud, loud thunder and very close lightning strikes. Going back to Facebook, Oil City dealing with heavy rain and some gusty winds as well. Uncertain, you'll see some heavy rain and some lightning, maybe some gusty winds, but things might stay just below severe limits for you. Shreveport, yes, what I got tracked, let me put it back on the screen, looking to head our way in about 50 minutes or so. Houghton, yes, if this line can hold together, you could very well see some a little bit of heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds with this as it pushes off to the east. There's updated ETAs since we got a new radar update in there. Greenwood, unless this line, and it has been doing so, but unless it continues to build to the south a little bit more, which, like I said, has done that over the past 20, 30 minutes. Greenwood, as of now, staying dry. We can see that line try to extend a little bit further to the north. Then, yes, you could see a little bit of rain. I see Kelsey's report of trees down on Highway 1. Do you happen to have a picture or something of the trees down? If so, if you have our KSLA weather app, or if not, you can go on our website. If you wouldn't mind uploading those, and we will get those over to the National Weather Service shortly. These storms, they're not moving super quick. They're also not moving super slow either. They're moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, so not, sitting nearly stationary over any certain spot. I will say another area, I want to give you the first alert to another area I'm kind of watching would be just right in between Houston and Plain Dealing. Looks like that area, and it's not very impressive when you look at it from this perspective, but that area, the winds are getting stronger there, latest scan. But, yep, this area right here is that area that was trying to spin up earlier. So going to have to watch that, especially now with winds picking up on it. Looks like Texarkana just registered a max wind gust of 60 miles per hour. So again, want to give you the first alert. We are watching that little area there of broad rotation right in between Houston and Plain Dealing. And winds there are picking up in that area regardless. So looks like the National Weather Service is giving us an update as we speak. But again, also want to give you the first alert to that wind gust up in Texarkana of close to 60 miles an hour. With that gust, the National Weather Service may opt to put a severe thunderstorm warning on that storm. All right, so the National Weather Service has told us we've got a tornado warning coming for northern Bossier and Webster Parish shortly. Since we're already live here with you now, let me go ahead and get a track on this storm. It's moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour, so we're about to cut over on the air as well. I'm going to leave you here for just a moment with a track. If I can zoom this out, again, we're going to be going live on KSLA here very shortly. All right, there's your ETAs on the screen. Again, we got a tornado warning coming for northern Bossier and Webster Parish. The area of rotation going to be heading toward Plain Dealing in about 10 minutes, out toward Mott in 25 minutes. So again, tornado warning going to be coming down very shortly. we're going to be live covering that for you here in just a moment. All right, so it looks like that tornado warning was just issued. It's going to be running through 9:30. It also includes extreme southern parts of Columbia County in Arkansas. So I'm going to leave you there with a track of that storm. Again, there's a look at the ETAs for that area of rotation. It's going to be muted here for just a second. We're going to be jumping on live in just a moment with on-air coverage on KSLA. And, of course, this live stream will continue. So we'll have coverage here in just a moment. We'll be right back. .30 p.m. and we're watching an area of rotation right now that's near plain dealing, or will be moving into plain dealing very shortly. You can kind of see that rotation, that hook signature on radar. Again, watching this as it moves close to Louisiana Highway 2 and Highway 3. We'll switch things over to velocity real quick. This will show us where that area of rotation is, and you can see it right here where the red and green colors are coming together. That is the area of greatest concern where we have potentially a tornado trying to spin up. Real quick, before we put a track on this, let's take a quick check of debris tracker, see if there's anything that really stands out there. Thankfully, not seeing anything that really jumps out at me at this time. But again, seeing an area of rotation right now that'll be moving into plain dealing on the north side of town here very, very shortly. I'm going to step off for just a moment, get some new information for you on this storm. It's moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour, so I want to get a track on it for you. Again, this is heading into Plain Dealing, likely on the north side of town. If you're anywhere in Plain Dealing, now is the time to go ahead and be in that tornado safe place. So here's a look at where the rotation is now. I'm actually going to adjust that track a little bit to account for our radar delay. Looks like now it is just east of Louisiana Highway 3. So it'll take just a second for that radar image to catch up. So with that said, this is going to be heading out toward the community of Mott in about 11 minutes, and we're right about here. There's Mott Church in about 12 minutes. If it is able to hold together, this will be moving out toward Cullen in about 20 to 25 minutes, and eventually out toward the community of Spring Hill, close to the Louisiana-Arkansas state line. That coming up in about 28 minutes. So again, we're watching an area of rotation right now that is moving through Plain Dealing currently right along Louisiana Highway 3. Switch it back over to radar real quick. This actually gives us a better indication. This is caught up a little bit more with where the rotation is right now. So I'm going to draw that out. It's right here in between Louisiana Highway 3 and Highway 157 north of town in Plain Dealing. So again, if you're out toward the community of Spring Hill or out toward Mott, the community of Mott Road, now is the time to go ahead and be in that tornado safe place. Is again, we are monitoring that area of rotation for a possible tornado. I do want to pull something up here real quick. Again, for those of you not familiar with your tornado safe place, I know we have people moving into the ArkLaTex all the time. That tornado safe place is going to be the lowest floor of a sturdy building, and you'll want to be away from windows. It's always best to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And again, you'll want to stay away from windows. Checking on a couple of updates here from the National Weather Service in Shreveport. There's a look at your tornado safe place, where you want to be as that tornado moves through. Again, an interior hallway, a closet, or a bathroom will be a great place to shelter if you're in the path of this tornado warning. So for now, tornado warning remains in place for parts of Bossier, Webster parishes in Louisiana, as well as Columbia County in Arkansas. We are, again, keeping very close tabs on this.
There are trucks, and then there's the 2026 GMC Sierra, with the capability to handle what life throws your way. That's the GMC Sierra, leading where it matters most. GMC Sierra, it's the truck. During GMC Truck Month, get 0% APR for 5 years on 2026 Sierra 1500 models. Plus, no monthly payments for 130 days.
See Morgan, Pippin, or Hope today.
You know what time it is? It's game time.
We are relentless.
First.
We marshals uphold the law.
Out, and this, what started as an isolated cell, has now become its own little structure of storms. Some of them, of course, being strong to severe, and of course, we've got the tornado warning as well. Want to take you up to Texarkana. Again, we had some stronger winds with those storms as they moved through the area not too long ago. Some light to moderate rain still out toward Red River County, parts of Bowie County, but the heaviest of the rain at this point is now traveling along I-30 heading out toward Hope. Of course, we'll have to watch to see if those winds stay pretty strong. Otherwise, most of the storms now to the east of I-49. The only exception is what has yet to come through Shreveport, Bossier. Some pretty strong storms out there toward Benton, not severe warned, at least this little segment here. Strong winds possible with this up to 60 miles an hour as it moves closer to areas like Blanchard and Benton in northwestern parts of Caddo and northern parts of Bossier Parish. But again, we're on the air right now as we have this active tornado warning. For those of you just joining us, that tornado warnings for Bossier and Webster Parish in Louisiana also includes a small sliver of Columbia County in southern Arkansas. That goes through 9:30 this evening. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. I want to see if we have any updates on our radar scans. with that tornado warned storm. So we'll go ahead and kind of zoom in here, take a look at the bigger picture. Still not looking super organized, which is what we like to see. If it can maintain itself that way for the next couple of scans, then we may be able to send you back to your regular programming a little bit earlier. I'm just not impressed with the latest scans at all. So again, we're going to give this another scan or two, make sure this doesn't try to spin back up. And if we don't need to be on the air, so the rotation is not as impressive, then we'll go back. And of course, if something tries to spin back up, we'll be right back here with you on the air. So we're going to give this a couple of minutes. But again, we're tracking that tornado warned storm. If we were to see any kind of area of rotation become a little more tighter or defined at this point, this is the general area that I'm watching right here, north of Plain Dealing. So Spring Hill and Sarepta, I still want you in that tornado safe place. As we've seen, we were tracking this a little bit earlier. Like I said, we've been on streaming here for about an hour and a half to 2 hours now. And out toward Vivian, that storm looked like it could be a problem. The rotation kind of fell apart, but then of course strengthened. That's why we've got a tornado warning now. So that's why this weren't watching very closely. But again, right now I'm not super impressed with the rotation couplet that we have here. It is very broad and disorganized. And if we can keep it that way for another radar scan or two, we will send you back to programming here on the early side. Let's go back out again for those just joining. Also, you may be wondering what's going on in Texarkana. I know we don't have severe weather or tornado warning there, but some pretty loud storms out that way and some gusty winds not that long ago as that main part of the line moved through. Let's go back. I want to zoom in here. We'll take a look at the I-30 corridor first. We've got some light to moderate rain extending out toward Idabel, Clarksville, north of I-30. Some very heavy rain traveling along I-30. This is going to be moving into Hope shortly and then out toward Prescott eventually as well. And then, of course, further to the south, we've got the stronger thunderstorms. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning in place, and then also the tornado warning that we're tracking on the air right now. For those just joining about the severe thunderstorm warning as well, Caddo Parish is included, Harrison and Marion counties in Texas, extreme eastern parts of both counties. That going through 9:30 p.m. for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and hail 1 inch in diameter. We'll go back into the tornado warning. About time to get you another track on the area of rotation that I'm watching. So we're going to zoom back in there. Again, that's northeast of Plain Dealing at this time. I'm going to step off the screen real quick to kind of put a track on that area of rotation. We'll zoom this out just a little bit and get more in view there. But again, this storm moving out toward the Spring Hill, kind of Shongaloo and Sarepta area very shortly. So still on track to move into the community of Mott in about 5 or so minutes. Spring Hill, looks like we got a new update there. So let's back the track and we'll retrack this again. So again, the area that I'm watching, kind of out towards Spring Hill and Shongaloo, there's a look at the latest estimated times of arrival. About 10 minutes or so before reaching Cullen, 15 or so before moving out to the Spring Hill community, around 20 to 25 minutes before it arrives in Shongaloo, and about 35 minutes, again, if this tries to spin back up before it moves toward the end of that warning box. So heavy rain right now currently along and east of I-49, Patmos, Fulton, Hope, dealing with heavy rain, some lightning. These storms, though, not severe up in southwest Arkansas at this time. Tolette, Washington, Wallaceburg up next for some of that heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds as well. I'll take you back down real quick to parts of Caddo Parish. Benton, Belcher, Oil City, all dealing with some heavy rain right now. Want to look into this, make sure it's not trying to rotate real quick. What's coming across the Harrison County line into Caddo Parish. Not seeing much in terms of rotation there, which is good. But still some heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and of course the potential for wind gust up to 60 miles an hour as the storm moves into Blanchard, and if it holds together, eventually tracks toward the Shreveport-Bossier metro. We're going to move radar a little bit back to our tornado warning. And for our KSLA team, just a heads up, we're going to be sending it back to program here very soon, maybe in the next minute or so. Not super impressed with what we've got out there on radar right now. So if we can hold that trend for another minute or so, we'll be back to programming here shortly. Again, if we see something try to spin up, it's going to be on the leading edge of this line east of Plain Dealing. This is going to be moving out towards Spring Hill and Shongaloo. And I'll show you real quick on radar kind of what I'm talking about when I say the structure just overall is not looking super impressive. You don't see a lot of tight and defined red and green colors here on the radar anymore, whereas just a few moments ago, I'm going to take our radar back a couple of scans by a few minutes. When this storm was to the west of Plain Dealing, there's no question about where a possible tornado would be. You can see those bright red, bright green colors tight together. That's a tight rotation couplet and that oftentimes means that we could see a tornado spin up at any moment if there's not one in progress. So that's what it looked like when we had the warning initially issued, but then fast forward to now and the rotation is looking a little less impressive. So it looks like we're getting an update from the National Weather Service. We'll see what they are saying. Looks like they're kind of agreeing with what I'm mentioning as well, that the rotation is much weaker now and that it's possible that we see the tornado warning canceled early if that trend can hold. So again, before we head off the air, here's kind of what we're looking at. We've got the tornado warning, the rotation there, not looking as impressive right now. Very, very weak and broad at this point. So again, if those trends hold, likely see that warning expire shortly. We've got stronger wind gusts out that'll be moving toward Blanchard here in a little while, and eventually holds together out towards Shreveport as well. Maybe some heavy rain, small hail possible with this, a lot of lightning, so pretty electric and noisy storms that'll be moving into Shreveport, Bossier shortly. Isolated rain forming out behind that, southern Harrison County. Another isolated storm cell there, northwestern parts of Jefferson, likely north of Lake of the Pines, extending into southern Cass County as well. Some light to moderate rain along I-30 near New Boston, New Hope, out toward Jewel, Foreman, east of Idabel there in McCurtain County. And as we take you out further to the east, Ashdown dealing with moderate to heavy rain. Heavier rain near Saratoga, Fulton down to Patmos. That's going to be moving into Hope and Prescott as well as Roston here over the next half hour to hour. Stamps seeing the rain pick up right now. Looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. Still not including the Shreveport Bossier Metro, but we'll go ahead and get the information on that warning. That new warning includes Spring Hill, Cotton Valley, Emerson, Haynesville. It goes out to Homer and Minden. New severe thunderstorm warning there going out through 9:45. And because of what we've seen with that storm that currently is tornado warned, that tried to get going in Vivian, wasn't successful, and then did have some strong rotation not long ago, they went ahead, added the tornado possible tag, as we could see little areas of spin try to get going along the leading edge of this line. So again, whenever it comes to the tornado warning, the rotation there, again, is not looking great. Taking another look here, and again, still not seeing much, but again, we'll be watching these storms as they move closer to the Shreveport Bossier Metro. Again, some stronger storms west of town now about to cross the state line. And of course, if anything tries to spin back up and show tight rotation or signs of organization, of course, we'll be with you on streaming and back here on the air if a tornado warning is issued. You can stay up to date with us on the KSLA weather app and on social media. We'll also have another live update for you coming up here in just a few minutes.
When my hair started to thin, I wasn't feeling so confident.
I stopped hanging out with the guys because I didn't want to hear the wisecracks.
I started taking Nutrafol because I had seen that it worked with my friend.
Nutrafol really takes the time to do the research, to do the clinical studies. And I really respect how it works from the inside out.
Nutrafol was able to bring my hair back to life, and it keeps getting thicker and fuller.
Oh! It felt real good to ditch the hat.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
Morning, Pete. Coffee's on and your Uber's on its way.
Alexa, I've been thinking, maybe I should just go by Peter now?
Peter Davidson. Not bad.
Sounds like I'm going to try and sell you an extended warranty.
How about Petey?
I know a dog named Petey.
Little P or Big D?
Oh, what about Double P?
You want to go by PP?
You know what? I think I'm just going to stick with Pete.
Pete. I like it.
I like you too.
Join the mission and help us tell men and women with high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes about the UACR urine test. It can help detect kidney damage early and related heart risk. Learn more at detectthesos.com.
Did you know your choice of toothpaste is as important to gum health as brushing and flossing? Try Crest Gum Detoxify. It penetrates gum pockets to eliminate the trapped plaque that brushing can't reach. For healthier gums in just 2 weeks. Try Crest.
When you need longer-lasting body pain relief, try Aleve. Just one dose of Aleve provides pain relief for up to 12 hours from all types of body pain. Aleve, longer-lasting body pain relief.
Purina ONE.
Hey everyone, I didn't realize we were still streaming on Facebook. I'm going to do another weather update. No, it's super informal at this point. So I'm just going to put us back on the website, and we'll... I'm just reading through some comments here real quick. We got storms coming into the Shreveport Metro. Nothing severe warned in Shreveport itself right now. Let's see. I see somebody asking about why we were off. The area of circulation kind of fell apart, so I had to go from back in studio to the digital studio once again. So that takes a minute sometimes to get everything situated. I think we're back on our website here. So yes, we're here. I'm back. I'm gonna get radar back on the screen for you here real quick. There we go. We've got some. Got some pretty heavy rain currently moving through Spring Hill, Sarepta, Cotton Valley. Of course, there's the remnants of what we were watching earlier for a possible tornado warning. Or we did have a tornado warning, but a possible tornado. Looks like I got a report here out of Plain Dealing of trees down. And just kind of taking a look at some things here, getting back set up once again. So yes, we've got heavy thunderstorms kind of moving toward the Shreveport-Bossier Metro at this time. Got some good heavy rain in there. Maybe a little bit of small hail. Actually get our hail tracker. Kind of look inside the storm closer to 169. So hail looking to be below severe limits with what's moving into Shreveport-Bossier, kind of toward Blanchard right now. But again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust possible as this continues moving. I believe this is still going to the about 30 miles an hour. So yes, this line is moving at about 30 miles an hour. Go ahead and track this out here for the next hour or so. So this will be moving it, or this is basically on top of Blanchard right now. I'd probably start to hear that heavy rain or see it outside 20 minutes or so before this arrives in Shreveport. This will likely barely skate by Greenwood. We've got some isolated showers out there right now surrounding Greenwood. In fact, very close to the radar sites, which is at I-20 and 220. So Greenwood, you might pick up a little bit of that brief lighter rain, but the heavy rain likely staying just north of town. Looks like they are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for Caddo Parish. That's heading into the Blanchard area right now. Just got a new update in there from the National Weather Service. Go ahead and clear things out here. So still warned for 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail. I know it's hard to see there, but you can see kind of the glow around the warning I selected. And then we've got that additional severe thunderstorm warning in place. Let's see here. Click that. Got that additional severe thunderstorm warning in place through 9:45. Also monitoring for wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. So these storms are pretty noisy. They're packing some gusty winds with them as well. I know that one said tornado possible. That's because of that area of rotation that tried to spin up near Vivian. Then it did become tight enough for a tornado warning, why we were on the live stream and on the air for a bit. Now, though, the rotation has just not looked all that impressive. Still seeing some pockets of a little bit stronger winds there out towards Shongaloo. But not seeing anything super concerning in terms of a possible tornado. So back out here and look across the rest of the area. Hope, of course, getting some heavy rain right now. That's going to be heading out toward Prescott and eventually out of the KSLA viewing area. Emerson, Spring Hill, Haynesville, Cotton Valley, all picking up some heavy rain and some gusty winds. Or Haynesville on track to move your way, I should say. Same with Emerson. Eastwood, very close to that rain. Right now, it's staying just north of Houghton. But if we can get this to move the right direction, it will be heading out to Houghton as well. There we go. Very heavy rain out toward Blanchard. Switch things up here. All right, got a live view right now. We've got our downtown Shreveport camera and our radar pulled up. So take me just a second. I need to move that camera. Right now you're looking more to the north instead of the west. I want to kind of move that a little further to the west so we can see what's coming in a little bit better. So bear with me here for one moment. And I'll also answer your questions here in just a second on our social media platforms as well. There we go. So I'm moving our camera, and yep, look at that. You can see that nice little shelf cloud there in the distance as the thunderstorms roll in. Look at that lightning show. I'm actually going to make this full screen here for a moment. Lots of lightning there with that storm. All right, we're going to take a look at questions from social media platforms. So you don't see me on the screen, but I am talking. We are answering some questions currently. The tornado warning for Spring Hill was canceled. It was canceled a little while ago. We went off the air right before it was canceled. The rotation was had really fallen apart. Once this line reaches your area, likely less than 30 minutes, once that leading edge gets past you, the wind should gradually start to weaken. The heavy rain lasting for 20, 30 minutes, it'll keep moving on out. Tornado concerns, the threat is very low. I mentioned this earlier, but not zero. And as we saw, we had one area of rotation get strong enough to warrant a tornado warning a little bit earlier. So the threat is not zero, but it does stay pretty low. It's a question about Benton. Benton right now kind of seeing the rain lighten up for just a little bit. Let's switch us over here. Seeing the rain lighten up for just a moment there, but likely to see more moderate to heavy rain pick back up here shortly. Right now there's not a tornado concern, but of course we'll be watching that leading edge of this line for any kind of spin-ups. So North Bossier, you're likely to see rain here within the next 20 minutes or so. Benton, the rain will be picking up for you shortly as well. I kind of put a track here on what's going through Shreveport Bossier and put the ETAs on the screen. Just a little bit. So there's a look at your ETAs for when storms are on track to arrive in the Shreveport Bossier area. Likely here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Eastwood closer to 30 minutes, and then eventually tracking out toward Houghton in about 30 minutes. All right, I'm going to keep going through some questions here on mine. Cotton Valley right now, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, dealing with gusty winds up to about 60 miles an hour or so. And lots of heavy rain and lightning, of course, as well. We will be live. I want to stay live at least until these storms can get past the Shreveport Bossier Metro. With that said, it is a one-man band with me here tonight as far as streaming coverage and also our newscast. So at some point closer to newscast time, I will have to shift gears and get ready for that newscast. That's coming up at 10. So we'll see. If storms can move out of the Shreveport Bossier Metro or weaken here pretty soon, we might be with you here for another 20 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes will be probably the cutoff, though. And like I said, we'll just pick that coverage up at 10 o'clock. On our streaming platforms, not necessarily Facebook, TikTok, but on our KSLA app, which you can download on your smart TV. If you don't have antenna or you don't have cable, you can download that for free. There's no subscription, no sign up. Or you can watch us on the air through traditional means. CBS, DirecTV, anything you might have coming up at 10, that same update. Heavy rain in Houghton right now. Out toward Ida, I see somebody saying tornado or straight line winds. Likely straight line winds out toward Ida. I didn't see anything earlier that was particularly concerning in terms of rotation. But that reminds me, I do kind of want to look down this line and see what we're working with. So far so good in terms of what I'm seeing. Not seeing a lot in terms of rotation, just pockets there of stronger winds. Again, mainly along the leading edge of that line. There was an area a little bit earlier, I think we might have had a brief little downburst, so a pocket of heavy rain and stronger winds. If we saw that, would have been right about here, along the state line north of Wascom. So if you're out there, it's a pretty rural area, and you notice things really picking up there for a brief moment. That is likely what it was, just a brief little downburst. So as we go throughout the rest of the night, of course, the main show is moving through right now. That line of showers and thunderstorms. But as we go through the remainder of the overnight hours, little isolated to scattered showers like this will be possible. The severe threat should be a little bit lower as we go later into the evening. We maybe see some gusty winds, some heavy rain, and some lightning. So you might see little pop-up storms like this try to develop overnight and maybe wake you up, provide some more brief and heavy rain. But like I said, the main show at this point, the main line of thunderstorms, extends along a line from Magnolia, Arkansas, through Spring Hill down to Shreveport, and these are moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So for those just joining, this is going to be a very weird storm track. Let me redraw that again. So there's a look at the latest estimated times of arrival. Let me actually pop that up on screen. See that there a little bit better. About, really coming in to Shreveport any moment. Heading out toward Minden in about 10 minutes max, probably 10 to 15 max. 20, 25 minutes for Homer. And then eventually heading out towards Sibley and Gippsland in closer to 45 minutes and 1 hour. See the lightning there really starting to pick up as storms move into Shreveport-Bossier. You can actually hear the thunder outside the station now. So quite the lightning show from these storms. Again, they're going to be loud, noisy. They'll produce some heavy rain, and also the possibility for some gusty winds as well. The severe thunderstorm watch that was in place for East Texas, that is about to be canceled. The National Weather Service just giving us that update a few moments ago. Yeah, look at all that lightning in Shreveport-Bossier. I'll leave you with a look there at the tower cam for just a second. I'm going to go back here to social media and answer some questions. See, we've got some heavy rain in North Bossier, really coming down off Highway 1. North Shreveport starting to get some rain as well. Yes, Colton, it has lost a lot of its drive in Spring Hill at this point. Good to know that the wind is weakening a little bit as well. Colton on TikTok reporting some lightning and rain, and of course you can see that lightning moving into Shreveport right now from our downtown camera. Oh, thank you, Richard, for the kind words. I appreciate it. Looks like that text message just came down that the severe thunderstorm watch that was in place for parts of East Texas has now been officially canceled. So we've got a few severe thunderstorm warnings out there right now, including one just west of the Shreveport-Bossier Metro. Taking a look here at some of our Facebook questions. So Shreveport, this is going to be a pretty quick downpour, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. Stonewall likely to stay north of most of this rain. What I'm tracking out here, this kind of line of storms, is going to stay just north of you. However, we could see additional little pop-up showers and thunderstorms tonight. Very hit and miss in nature. So you might get a brief heavy downpour overnight, but the severe weather risk should be going down. See a few questions about Spring Hill. We'll go over to Spring Hill real quick. I see all of the Facebook comments talking about Spring Hill. That's kind of funny. You know, I'm very much a person. I don't believe in hyping things up and blowing things out of proportion. Always going to keep the facts, keep it straight with y'all, especially when covering storms. I mean, many people in the ArkLaTex, even myself included, have a little bit of storm anxiety. You know, storms are scary. We see damage from them. We see tornadoes in this area. Of course, no stranger. So my goal is, of course, to present the facts and stay calm, try to keep you calm and guide you through the storm. So, yes, not being super urgent for Spring Hill because the situation there is just not super urgent right now. We've got some heavy rain, but the rain is actually going to start lightening up in your area very, very soon. And the gusty winds, the strongest of those at this point, are to your east. So things in Spring Hill, you know, not super urgent. But that's funny. I got a good laugh out of that. So the weather for Marshall tonight, we'll go back to Marshall here in just a second. At this point, we've got some isolated thunderstorms northeast of town, really close to Karnak, along Highway 43. More of that little spotty developments possible overnight that would just provide a brief downpour too, and then keep moving out of the area. We've got the heavy rain falling here outside the station. I wonder if I can pull up our, it looks like our camera reset. Very, very heavy downpour. It's like it might be raining in downtown now as well. I see Nikki's reporting that it's raining off of Benton Road. Alina's saying that the winds are pretty strong. So once the storms arrive at your location in Shreveport, and looking at these lasting maybe 20 to 30 minutes max. I see Jonathan asking about another notch along the leading edge of that line. The reflectivity, or what you see, kind of that notch that you were talking about a moment ago, it has looked ominous a little more often throughout the overnight hours, or through this evening, I should say, but has not always had tight rotation. In fact, out toward Vivian, it had a really good appendage. It looked kind of concerning, but looking at the velocity or the speed and direction of the winds, the rotation just wasn't looking that impressive. And I'm not seeing anything that really jumps out at me other than some pockets of gusty winds, but not seeing anything in terms of really tight or defined rotation right now. Benton Road, you're likely picking up some rain right now, I believe, based on what I'm seeing here on radar. We do have some severe storms out there producing some gusty winds, but beyond that, the severe threat should stay on the lower side tonight. Still a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, which doesn't mean 0, as we've seen here this evening. We had a few severe thunderstorm warnings and, of course, that tornado warning. A level 1 risk doesn't mean a level 0 risk, but the threat tonight does stay on the lower side. This is not going to be some widespread kind of severe weather outbreak. That is what this will not be, again, staying very isolated. Cameron, I totally understand. If this was moving through Marshall right now, my mom would be blowing up my phone too. Let me see. Yes, Maddie, you're saying it's bad there in Sarepta. Yes, you've got the heavy rain ongoing right now and also the gusty winds. And y'all's tornado siren likely to go off a little while ago as y'all were in that tornado warned area, I believe. I'm going to try to actually switch back to our camera here for just a moment. I know many of you are starting to lose power across parts of the ArkLaTex. I'm going to pull up our power outage map here and see what we're looking at across the board. But again, these gusty winds can easily knock out power, especially those that have picked up a lot of rain in the last week or two. Of course, the saturated ground certainly does not help when it comes to trees falling and power lines falling as well. I'm actually going to pull this up full screen. So there we go. Caddo Parish right now, as of the latest update, has about 840 without power, and this is tracked across SWEPCO and some of the other power companies that serve northwest Louisiana. About 1,200 or so without power in Bossier Parish, getting close to 1,300. A little under 150 in Webster Parish. We'll go out to Texas as well. Louisiana right now, 4th on the list for highest number of power outages right now in the country. Some of our viewing area dealing with high numbers of outages. Bowie County coming in with about 41 to 4,200 outages. Camp County about 370 without power. 275 in Marion County, and a little under 1,000 without power currently in Harrison County. So that's what we're looking at right now in terms of power outages. And right now we've got the heavy rain moving through Shreveport. So it looks like they may opt to not extend with an additional severe thunderstorm warning for the storm moving through Shreveport-Bossier right now. So yes, they went ahead and expired that out. I'm going to look here. I think they just replaced it with what we call a special weather statement, which is a heads up. Hey, the storm, it's on the stronger side, but it's not severe. But also, I'm going to have to double check this. Let me actually zoom out radar here. I think I can show it here from this perspective. So you might notice this little thin green line that's to the south of these thunderstorms. This is important. This is a big telltale sign for us as meteorologists what storms are going to do next. So you'll see as we progress that timeline forward that this little thin green line, or what's called an outflow boundary, is getting further away from the line of thunderstorms. This is good news. Usually when that happens, it means that the parent thunderstorm starts to weaken. So it'll take some time. Of course, moderate to heavy rain is going to continue for a little while longer, but it will start to weaken. Now, the other thing about these outflow boundaries is that they provide as a source of lift. They're almost like a mini cold front. So they provide enough lift to get some thunderstorms going, and as a result, we can see additional isolated to scattered thunderstorms try to develop along that outflow boundary. Wow, out toward Haynesville right now, you're seeing the start of some very heavy rain. Same with Homer. North of Minden, seeing some heavy rain there along 159, and then more rain heading out. Really, I know somebody asked about Doyline earlier. I'm not sure if you're still watching, but very heavy rain just north of Doyline there along I-20, kind of close to Sibley. So Minden getting ready to pick up on some rain here in just a moment. We'll go back to Facebook, look at some questions. Alexis reporting power off in Plain Dealing, seeing some power flickers at Haynesville as well. Somebody asking about Bossier and Benton. It's basically there right now for both. Thank you, Nona. I really appreciate the kind words. I see your comment here on Facebook. Jeff, I see Jeff's asking if we can go to bed now. That is a great question. Jeff, if you're still watching, can you comment in the Facebook comments and let me know where you're located so I can give you a good answer? Oh, never mind. I see it. West of Spring Hill. West of the Spring Hill area. So I'll actually adjust the radar. We'll go back. So you're done with the main line of showers and thunderstorms. Of course, we are seeing additional isolated to scattered showered storm development out behind that main line. That will continue through the night. I'd recommend going to bed if you have a weather radio or a way to receive alerts on your smartphone. If you I would make sure to have an audible way to receive alerts just in case. But I do think things, minus, some lightning and heavy downpours, should stay pretty quiet as we go through the rest of the night. In fact, for those of you that maybe don't have a weather radio on hand, I want to show you real quick, especially, I know Androids have a very similar feature, but how you can go through on here and actually make it to where your weather app will notify you in the event of severe weather. So what I do here on I'm going to start from the beginning. I just open the settings app on my phone, and I scroll down. There's a setting. It has a little moon by it called Focus. Might be a little hard to see there on my screen, but you want to hit that Focus section. And I have several different ones. In my case, I want to do the do not disturb one, and you'll have several options here. So what I want to do, you'll have people and you'll have apps. So I'm going to go to my app section and make sure that I have the checked allow notifications from. So I have a section here. I already have the phone app. I'm going to click add apps, and from there, I'm going to go to my KSLA First Alert Weather app, tap that, and then hit the blue check. And just like that, now when I put my phone in Do Not Disturb, I can put my phone on ring and make sure my ringer's up, lock my phone, charge it, and know that if there's severe weather, I'll get notified of severe weather on my phone, but all my other notifications I don't need to see, I won't get the message for. So that's a neat trick. Again, Androids have a very similar feature that I just showed you on was an iPhone. But again, I would say you're good to go to bed tonight in Haynesville, or Spring Hill, I should say. Haynesville, a little while longer, those gusty winds and heavy rain will start to slack off pretty soon. But going to bed tonight with rain staying isolated to scatter, it's just a good practice, I'd say, to have that do not disturb override on for your weather alerts. Spring Hill in the clear for tornadoes. Yes, the tornado threat is extremely low for you through the rest of the night. I see several questions about another round. Like I'm mentioning before, if you look out toward Oil City right now on the radar screen, you'll notice a little isolated thunderstorm. More of that isolated to scattered, very hit and miss activity will be possible through the night tonight. So there will be many that don't see any rain at all from this point forward. Some of you will, though. We're looking at heavy downpours, gusty winds, and also some lightning with some of those storms as well. El Dorado, Arkansas, that heavy rain that's out toward Magnolia will be tracking your way. But at this time, gusty winds, lightning, and heavy rain really the main threat. So plain dealing, things are quieting down for you for the time being. You might be hearing a little bit of thunder from the storm out near Oil City and Gilliam. Again, more of that little spotty, heavy rain will be possible tonight. But the severe threat, it's not zero, but it is low and should continue to wind down through the overnight hours tonight. Kind of bounce here between a few of our different platforms. See a comment here about the wind making a crazy noise north Bossier. Yes, that wind can be something. I think it was the night before last I was laying down. No severe weather here in Shreveport, Bossier. I'm pretty sure the storm was not severe warned. Early in the morning, and the wind was strong. I mean, I even got up and looked out the window myself. So that wind can definitely sound pretty ominous. See Hall Summit getting a good lightning show. I'm still kind of going through some comments here. Magnolia getting heavy wind and rain. DeSoto Parish, you're staying just north of most of that rain. Looks like the, there we go. Say, need a new radar scan to come in there. Good sleeping weather. Yes, this is really good sleeping weather. Red shoot. Michael, I have an app on my phone too that tells me, or it actually told me a second ago, dangerous storm heading your way. Out toward Red shoot, you're looking at heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds at this point. Of course, these are very noisy storms producing a lot of lightning. Yep, some of that heaviest rain is arriving right now, but at this point, there's no severe thunderstorm warning. You see gusty winds up to maybe 40, 50 miles per hour at the strongest as that storm moves through your area. So again, we're getting close to our 10 p.m. newscast. We're going to have to wind this live stream down here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. That should hopefully give the majority of this enough time to move out of the Shreveport-Bossier Metro. And again, we'll be off of live stream for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But if you have our KSLA News app on your smartphone or even on your Roku, Fire, Apple TV, you can watch our newscast there at 10. Of course, we're going to have not just news, but the latest on weather. So I'll be providing updates throughout that newscast. And the thing with our smart TV app, one of my favorite things, to be honest with you, you can download it. It's free. No sign up. You don't have to log in with the cable provider. None of that. You can just stream our newscast and not have to worry about all the extra stuff. So if you don't have that already on your smart TV, I'd recommend going ahead and downloading that. And streams like this as well, where we choose to extend severe weather coverage like we did this evening. That we didn't do on CBS except for the tornado warning, but this streaming coverage would show up on your Roku app or your Fire TV. So again, it is a very useful tool. So our newscast will be streaming, and of course the newscast will also be on CBS at 10 p.m. if that's how you watch our news. I'll have an update at the top of the hour. It's like they just put out a new severe thunderstorm warning. I know somebody was asking about El Dorado a moment ago. This one extends into Union County and Union Parish, as well as Claiborne and also Columbia County in Arkansas. So 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, the main threat with these storms. I'll go ahead and put a track on these as well. We're moving off to the east at about 35 miles an hour. So there we go. These thunderstorms moving off toward Scottsville in Louisiana in Claiborne Parish in about 22 minutes. Bernice in Union Parish in about 30 minutes. Tracking out toward El Dorado, Arkansas in about 35 to 40 minutes. And then Farmerville in about 55 minutes. So these are heading out toward the KNOE coverage area. There's a quick look. Downtown Shreveport, Bossier City. The rain is still coming down. Still heavy rain still falling pretty hard. Of course, we've got the gusty winds. Thankfully, at this point, Shreveport, Bossier, our storms are below severe limits. For the time being, more heavy rain out toward Mooringsport and Belcher currently. So again, also for East Texas, the severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled. So we are now watch-free across, well, severe thunderstorm watch-free across the ArkLaTex. What we do still have in place is the flood watch through Wednesday morning. Model guidance has not been doing the best. I mean, it usually does not perform well in these kinds of weather setups. In fact, you can see what it's showing right now, and this is the, I believe this is the version that updates hourly. Yeah, this is the version, like I said, when I say models handle these setups terribly, they do a terrible job. This is what FutureTrack has for right now, or basically an hour ago. We'll be fair, we'll go to 10 o'clock. That looks nothing like the radar picture at this time. So models, again, struggle very much so to handle these setups. I might refrain from showing FutureTrack because this is in our 10 o'clock newscast tonight, because this is not looking good. And we have several different models we can look at, several pieces of data to look at. That one is, this one is not doing horrible, but then it also gets to a point where I can't say I agree with what it's showing. Again, I'm sorry I'm quiet here. I'm just kind of evaluating this. Yeah, these are, again, FutureTrack. We have an upper level disturbance moving through. We've got, in the upper levels of our atmosphere, we've got northwesterly winds, and that that set up for what we call MCSs, or the storm complexes that we've seen move through a little bit earlier today. Data always handles those horribly. It's nothing new, unfortunately. Hopefully we get to a point where technology advances and we don't see such. Of course, having bad data makes it a lot tougher to forecast, and so we always have to stay on our toes with these. Checking our comments here again. Okay, so I'm going to answer another wave of comments. I'm going to take a quick look at the wide picture, and then I've got to hop off. Again, we're going to end the live streams across our apps and our social media platforms, but if you have our KSLA News app on your phone, the KSLA app on your Roku, Fire, Apple TV, or you watch us on CBS, our newscast is coming up in just a few minutes at 10 o'clock. Since we don't, I've got to prepare for our newscast. I got to get ready. Again, one-man band tonight. Don't have much help on that end. So I'm going to get an update ready to go. Top of the show, we'll be talking about weather and, of course, what's moving through the area. Again, you can stream that on our apps, and you can also watch that live on TV as well. I see heavy rain there in Magnolia, plain dealing. Things should be winding down. Can't rule out more pop-up showers overnight tonight. Houghton, again, also just dealing with mainly heavy rain. I see Dana saying that the wind is pretty strong in Magnolia. That is where we've got that one severe thunderstorm warning. Dixie and Princeton just dealing with heavy rain. Natchitoches may walk away without a drop of rain. Again, with this hit and miss storm activity expected later on tonight, not everybody's going to see rain. Dana, we do cover Magnolia, Arkansas here at KSLA. And so really the worst of things is starting to move out right now. With this, I'm going to look here, kind of see what winds we're looking like on radar. Get some estimates there. Looks like winds as they move through town, we're probably about 30 miles an hour, 35 at the strongest. So not quite to severe limits, but of course that heavy rain, a lot of that lightning too. It definitely gets a little scary out there, even with storms below severe limits. Magnolia at this point is not under a severe thunderstorm warning. Minden, right now you're dealing with some heavy rain. You kind of see it there toward the right of the screen. Same with Sibley. No severe thunderstorm warnings there. Magnolia, Arkansas, again, you're kind of wrapping up the worst. Stonewall, you're staying a little bit to the north of that storm activity. And then Terry, I see you're hearing thunder outside of El Dorado. You are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. That's right, big picture right now. I-20 dealing with a lot of heavy rain and gusty winds from Shreveport to Eastwood out to Minden, and then out in Claiborne Parish out in, that was a strike. I don't know if I can go back and get that. Wow. I have so the way our streaming stuff is set up, I can see what you're saying, and I can also see what I would want to switch to. And there was a lightning strike that just struck somewhere. It looked like it struck in downtown Shreveport with the way that the camera's positioned. Wow. Kind of scary there. Okay, so Homer dealing with some heavy rain as well, and that's also where we have a severe thunderstorm warning. No, somebody was asking about Shongaloo. You're wrapping things up. I mean, the rain's pretty light right now. Not seeing much there now. And yeah, that is the only severe thunderstorm warning right on the Louisiana-Arkansas state line. Otherwise, the rest of us are starting to quiet down. So again, I hate that I have to get off now, but I've got to get ready for our 10 p.m. newscast. We'll be live on the air and on our apps coming up here at 10 o'clock, so I will see you there with another update.